Good morning. This is Morning Coffee. And first of all, I want to say thank you to so many of you who take the time to listen to Morning Coffee and send me messages through the inbox to let me know that, you're being blessed. It is a blessing for me to be alive, to be able to do this. And today what I want to really share about is I want to share about the gift. And I want to share about those of us who have given so much that's when it is our time to receive, we don't even know how to receive it because we have been giving so much that we think that the person that is giving to us wants something from us, or they may have an agenda, and this is the interesting part, we are not worthy to receive the gift. Let me share this with you. Recently I met someone and I was discussing with them how much I love this person was a photographer, and I was discussing with them how much I love some work on their website. And we were just conversating, and I was like, oh yeah, I really like, this particular photo, I like that particular photo. And I like some abstract things that were done. So had no idea that, me putting those words, into the universe and into that person's ear would eventually turn into me building a relationship, a phenomenal friendship with someone, whom I had just met online and didn't think anything further of it other than me loving their website. Why am I talking about this? Because after actually meeting the person, right? And I'm going to say it took some weeks to actually meet them in person. We had decided to meet face to face. I had, was in their company, and just as I was getting ready to leave, their company, they surprised me. Hold on. They gave me a card, and yeah, they gave me a card, and they had also spoke on something that I had spoke on Morning Coffee, So, and they gave me this beautiful card. Absolutely beautiful. And it's handmade. And, they basically wrote some stuff in here that I hadn't heard, or seen a person do in a long time. See, I'm that type of a person. And I know many of you that listen to me are probably the same way. You go out, you give people cards, you give people flowers. Giving. You're always giving something of yourself. Pouring always into someone else. Investing into them. Well, for a while, I have, laid back on my investments with people. In fact, I've shared with many of you, I tried to help my nephew who had come up here, and I began pouring into him, but he refused my love, and there was no sense in me, continuing to pour love in him that would only come back void and miserable for me. So what I learned to do when I, involve myself with people who do not have the ability, or, and it's not a judgment on them, they just don't, their inability to be able to express or be able to receive or be able to give the same thing or something of value in a relationship, it becomes monumental for me that I make it my mission not to engage with these type of people. Because when I do, I end up with lots of stress, I end up with lots of heartache, I end up with lots of hurt, I end up feeling and being a nothing while I'm trying to make something out of it. So anyway, meet this person, send me this very beautiful card. I want you to get a very beautiful look at it because it's an original. And basically write words of expression in there. And at first, which is what the entire topic is about. At first, I was like, I didn't feel worthy. For a moment. But then I began to thank God for the spiritual law of reciprocity. I have been giving of myself without expecting anything in return, just because that person deserved it. I remember a long time ago, before I knew anything about, being aware of my spiritual value, my spiritual principles, I was just learning. I was a baby in it. I used to work at this Fortune 500 company, and there was an individual's wife who was dying of cancer, and I did not know him. I only worked with him. I only knew his name. And, God had put it in me to send this lady who had been dying of cancer a card, and I gave him the card. And I get touched when I tell you this kind of stuff, because this is the essence of who I really am. And I remember he came back, to me, thanking me, for taking time to honor his wife's, trauma that she was going through, and to honor his pain, because he later lost his wife. And here, just because I gave in that situation, years later, after coming through a hurdle of pain, after coming through obstacles of hurt, after dealing on a deep level with my grief, God, as only God could plan it out for me, sends an angel that gives me a card that begins to manifest itself and make it real to me that it is important that I learn to receive. It's very important. So if you're giving, it's okay. It's okay. If you even think people are using you and taking advantage of your kindness for weakness, don't spend your time thinking on that, because that's what the ego mind, easing God out mind, would want you to do. But the miracle-minded person is going to keep giving without worrying about what's on the agenda, because we know that there is joy in giving, and it is better to give than to receive. Now, part of giving and receiving, cause and effect, you got to also learn how to receive. When somebody smiles your way, or somebody takes time to take you out to dinner, instead of you always taking your money or credit card out to pay for the check, go ahead and let them pay. You deserve it. Go ahead and let them do it. You deserve it. And when somebody takes time to give you a card, receive it. Receive the words that are in there. They're meant specifically for you. Oh, I'm excited. Part of living and part of, what I love about the Christmas season, because you've heard Christmas music in the background. By the way, that's Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers that are singing. Some of you always ask who I play sometimes when I'm doing this, and that's who that is. Awesome CD. Only song I didn't like on there was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because it didn't fit the repertoire. But other than that, 5 stars across the board in my heart. So, in essence, it is time to be able to learn how to receive. So since I've been going inside, I see that it is a value for me to receive, because sometimes people want to give to you and you go, oh no, that's all right, and it's an insult, to the giver. And you've almost forced the gift back on them. You like it's almost like spitting in their face, saying like, whatever you're giving me is not worth it. Change that way of thinking. Somebody took the same kind of time that you took, and now it's time for people to begin pouring into you. So I gracefully receive, and I'm starting to receive things not only that I've given, but to receive, the kind of love, the kind of care, the kind of respect, the kind of attention that I not only deserve, but that I need to move me on to the next level. Have a very peaceful day. This has been Morning Coffee. I feel the same. Think I want to change the key one more.